I feel like there was a period though where you were invincible, and I couldn't play better than you.
Yeah.
It was like a
I
2
think
year
that's when I went
period.
through my breakup.
Oh, I wish I would have broke up.
Yeah, maybe.
I think this tournament, although it's not yet done, I think been a great success. I think just the
it's come a long way since I last remember it. But last time I was here, wala pa yung...
On June 9th, 2026, Serena Williams and Alexandra Eala both walked onto the grass of the Queen's Club in London, and professional tennis felt the ground shift beneath its feet. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a collision of eras. And what happened between these two athletes, separated by 23 years, 3 continents, and 23 Grand Slam titles, will define what professional tennis becomes next. On June 1st, 2026, Serena Williams stood at the Queen's Club and made it official. After nearly 4 years away from professional competition, her last match, a third-round exit at the 2022 US Open against Ajla Tomljanovic, Serena Williams announced her return to the WTA Tour. Not as a farewell, not as a ceremony, as a competitor. The road back was deliberate and precise. In late 2025, Williams re-entered the International Tennis Integrity Agency testing pool, the formal mechanism that signals a player's intention to compete again. That process completed on February 22, 2026, when Williams became officially eligible to play professional tennis once more. From that moment, the strategy was clear. Build through grass, the Queen's Club, the Berlin Open, then Wimbledon beginning June 29th. Every match a step, every court a preparation. For her doubles partner, Williams chose a 19-year-old Canadian named Victoria Mboko, current world singles number 9, and a player who had just reached the finals of the 2026 Strasbourg Open weeks earlier. The pairing carried real symbolic weight, the greatest champion of her generation, returning alongside one of the youngest rising forces in women's tennis. When reporters asked about a singles comeback at the Queen's Club press conference, Williams stayed non-committal, but she offered one sentence that said everything. She had won more than most people have in their entire lives and had nothing to lose and everything to gain. On June 9th, Williams and Mboko made their debut on the Andy Murray Arena. Their first-round opponents were the third-seeded team of Nicole Melichar-Martinez, a player with 19 career doubles trophies, and Aaron Routliffe, a 2-time Grand Slam doubles champion. The draw offered no mercy, but that wasn't all June 9th meant. Because 800 meters away, on a different Queen's Club court, a 21-year-old from Quezon City, Philippines was busy dismantling China's Shuai Zhang in just 1 hour and 9 minutes. Final score, 6-3, 6-2. The footwork was immaculate, the grass court timing was surgical, and the name above the result was Alexandra Eala. To understand what Alexandra Eala actually represents, you have to go back to a shell court in Pasig City, Valle Verde Country Club, where a 4-year-old girl first picked up a tennis racket under the guidance of her grandfather, Roberto Bobby Maniego. Not a professional academy, not a national federation program, a grandfather, a granddaughter, and a shell court. That's where it started. Eala's mother, Rosemarie Riza Maniego Eala, was a former national swimmer, a 1985 Southeast Asian Games bronze medalist in the 100-meter backstroke. The athletic DNA ran deep. Her brother, Michael Miko Eala, played collegiate tennis for Pennsylvania State University from 2020 to 2024. Her uncle Noli Eala served as former chairperson of the Philippine Sports Commission. Her uncle Rhett Eala is a celebrated fashion designer. Even the architecture of this family was built for achievement. At 4, Eala was playing tennis. At 8, Globe Telecom had already signed her to a corporate endorsement deal. By 2018, the Rafa Nadal Academy in Manacor, Spain recognized enough in her to offer a scholarship. By 2019, Nike followed, and that's when things really started to shift. On July 7, 2025, Alexandra Eala walked onto Wimbledon's main draw for the first time. Her opponent was Barbara Krejcikova, the reigning defending champion. Before that match, Nike presented Eala with something that had never been given to a tennis player in quite that form: a custom, non-commercial white hair tie featuring a hand-carved sampaguita, the jasmine flower, the national flower of the Philippines. The packaging carried a Tagalog proverb, "Kung may tinanim, may aanihin." You reap what you sow. That hair tie was never sold, never mass-produced. It was made for one player for one match, as a declaration, and it never left. After that day, the sampaguita became what it's described as, her permanent lucky charm, worn through every match that followed, including what came next. August 24th, 2025, the US Open Grandstand Court, Alexandra Eala versus Denmark's Clara Tauson. Eala took the first set 6-3. Then something happened that no script could have written. In the second and third sets, Eala's ground strokes turned erratic. Her serve speed fell, dropping all the way down to 75 miles per hour. In the deciding set, she found herself down 1-5. By every conventional reading of the situation, the match was over. But here's what happened next. Eala turned to her crowd, the flag-waving, voice-breaking Filipino supporters who had packed that New York grandstand, and actively appealed to them to raise their energy. And they responded. The atmosphere shifted into something closer to a football stadium than a tennis court. Eala clawed back. She leveled the set. When Tauson served for the match, Eala executed a volley right at the net that forced a video review, and the review ruled in Eala's favor. Tauson double-faulted on the next point. The match went to a tiebreak. The tiebreak went all the way to 11 points. Alexandra Eala won, 6-3, 2-6, 7-6, 11. It was the first time in the Open era that a player representing the Philippines had won a main draw match at a Grand Slam tournament. Traditional tennis commentators called the crowd's behavior gutter behavior. Critics argued the fans cheered Tauson's missed serves, shouted during active play, and violated the historically quiet decorum of professional tennis. Some even accused Eala of a breach of etiquette for staying on court to sign autographs after later losses, taking up, they argued, the winner's designated court time. But here's the interpretation that the facts actually support. Serena Williams herself played a historic, equally partisan match in 2015 at Wimbledon against Heather Watson, a match cited directly in the record as a precedent for exactly this kind of crowd atmosphere. What Western commentators labeled ungovernable in New York in 2025 was simply the arrival of a fan culture that professional tennis had never been forced to accommodate before, not because it was new to sport, but because a player capable of drawing it had never existed in tennis until now. Clara Tauson, for her part, stayed gracious in defeat. Despite Danish media describing her collapse from a 5-1 lead as a mental breakdown, Tauson herself expressed a desire to move past the net-touching controversy quickly. No bitterness, no accusations, just acknowledgement. And then came the part that reframes everything. As Eala's global profile expanded through 2025 and into 2026, something was happening in the digital background that had nothing to do with tennis. Forensic investigations published by media watchdog Rappler and independent research group The Nerve exposed a coordinated network of Facebook pages: Tennis Plus, Tennis Today, Tennis Triumph, Tennis Together, and Top Spin Central, systematically pushing fabricated stories about Alexandra Eala. The operation was precise. Pages managed by administrators in Vietnam, Bangladesh, and the Philippines first ran generic tennis content to build massive audiences. Once those followers were captured, the pages pivoted, publishing fabricated narratives designed to exploit Filipino nationalist sentiment. AI-generated images placed alongside political figures and corporate executives. A fake transcript claimed Czech player Linda Noskova had shouted racial slurs at Eala on court, calling her a trash girl, complete with an invented detail about a 5-word disciplinary warning from Rafael Nadal. None of it happened. Not a word of it had any factual basis. The networks also fabricated a $45 million endorsement deal with Wilson Sporting Goods, debunked. An engraved racket from Yonex, debunked. An Emirates Airlines partnership, debunked. Eala remains under contract with her actual equipment supplier, the French brand Babolat. Every fabricated outrage linked out to ad-heavy external websites running up to 20 programmatically served advertisements per page, generating commercial revenue from the clicks of the people who loved Alexandra Eala most. The reality is this: the greatest threat to Eala's legacy in 2026 isn't on any grass court, it's the fact that the same nationalistic pride that willed her back from 1 to 5 down at the US Open has become the most valuable commercial asset these operators possess. But on June 3rd, 2026, something was confirmed that no disinformation network could fabricate or take away. Alexandra Eala and Venus Williams, 5-time Wimbledon singles champion, 45 years old, accepted wildcards together for the Bad Homburg Open, a WTA 500 grass court event in Germany, running June 21st to June 27th. For the first time, these two players would stand not across from each other, but alongside each other, as doubles partners. That partnership didn't come from nowhere. Back in January 2026 at the ASB Classic in Auckland, Eala and Iva Jovic had already defeated Venus Williams and Alina Svitolina in the doubles round of 16, 7-6, 7, 6-1. Eala had already matched Venus Williams on a court and won. Now Venus Williams was choosing to stand beside Eala heading into Wimbledon. The grass court experience Venus Williams carries, built across decades and 5 Wimbledon singles crowns, is the precise complement to Eala's aggressive baseline game. Every rally they share in Germany is preparation for the lawns of the All England club, and Eala wasn't waiting around in the meantime. On June 7th, 2026, at the Lexus Birmingham Open, a 125 grass court event, Eala defeated Nikola Bartunkova in a final that lasted 2 hours and 38 minutes, 5-7, 6-3, 7-5. In the final game, with the title right there, Eala saved 3 breakpoints, 3 separate moments where it could have slipped away. 3 times she held it. That victory earned Eala $33,650 in prize money and lifted her from world number 37 to world number 33 on June 8th, following a career high of world number 29, reached on March 16th, 2026. 2 days after Birmingham, she was at the Queen's Club beating Shuai Zhang in 1 hour and 9 minutes. Her next match, a round of 16 rematch with Iva Jovic, the same player who eliminated her in the first round of the French Open just weeks earlier. On that same afternoon, 800 meters away on the Andy Murray Arena, Serena Williams was making her competitive return. 2 players, 1 afternoon, 1 moment. The Sampaguita that Nike hand-carved for a center court debut in July 2025 is still in Eala's hair in June 2026. The proverb on its packaging, Kung may tinanim, may aanihin, was written for a Wimbledon debut, but it's playing out across an entire career. Serena Williams came back to the Queen's Club with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Alexandra Eala arrived there with everything already begun and everything still ahead. And the question that this moment, this convergence, still cannot answer is the one that matters most. Serena Williams is non-committal about a singles return. The grass court season runs through Wimbledon. Eala is in the draw. Williams is building toward it. Will these 2 players, the greatest champion of one generation and the defining player of the next, ever face each other across a net, in singles, on grass? That answer isn't written yet. And that may be the most significant unresolved question in professional tennis right now.